Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me as ever is Splax and Bollock. Aaron Joseph Peter.
That's me. I'm here. I'm making art.
You're spraying it.
Yeah, all over the place.
Shooting ropes.
Wow.
Charging money for it.
Yeah.
You
You said, what if I shot ropes?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, what if...
This is the guy that shoots ropes.
yeah, what if I was dropping fucking loads on canvas?
Yeah.
And I don't mean in the boxing ring.
Yeah. And you
Although, maybe in the
Yeah,
boxing
maybe, yeah. You hit hard enough.
To my right, your left,
Yes.
we've got noted sportscaster Knob Costas.
That's nice. That's nice.
Zanoba.
Yeah. He's got a good voice, too.
Yeah.
He does.
That's true.
Yeah.
How are you? That's handsome Matt Brousseau.
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very good.
That's good.
Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you a tale.
Okay.
That's good.
It's a tale of quarrel.
Oh, quarrel.
Quarrel.
Mm.
And it's in far past year of the 1890s. And in the Wild West.
Of the United States?
Yes.
Of America?
Oh, boy. Well,
And there's cowboys rustling cattle.
Oh, boy.
There's boys hanging with their boys.
Oh.
And there's a gang rustling cattle. You know what rustling means? Thieving.
Nah.
Taken.
Stuff that ain't theirs?
Yeah.
This is a regular City Slickers 2.
yeah.
Or
Sometimes you
City
gotta,
Slickers 1.
sometimes you gotta rustle, though.
They're rustling them. And
Normally I rustle up some grub.
I do too. I rustle up a plate of beans.
Yeah.
A plate of beans.
New
Plate-
York City. Get the rope.
And we have at this time one of the accused
Drink us pee-pee.
gangs is the Red Sash Gang.
The Red Sash Gang. Now, I've heard of them.
Now they were rustling them cattle, right?
Yeah.
And
But-
one in it was a man by the name of Nate Champion.
Nate Champion.
Another
Good name.
one in it was a feller by the name of Jim Averill.
Jim Averill.
Jim Averill, and he was Pimp.
His nickname was Pimp?
No, he was Pimp.
Oh.
He was a pimp by trade.
He was Pimp too. If y'all will let me finish.
Nope.
Gal by the name of Cattle Kate.
Cattle Kate.
Cattle Kate.
Now, she fucked bulls.
No, she would take a steer in return for services.
Now, the Red
Did
Sash.
she service the steer?
Who's to say? You never know now.
The Red Sash. So what is that? Because we know what that red handkerchief,
No.
which means if you put it in your right pocket, it means you get fucked
You
by
wear a red
communists.
sash.
No,
It means
no.
you suck the horse's balls.
This wasn't no New York City gay fuck club kind
No.
of thing.
This
This was an emblem.
This was out here in the Old West where we just don't put labels on things like that.
Yeah, we
Sure,
just
we
fuck
s-
our friends.
we
It's
sure
not
don't.
gay.
We sure don't. Except everything I just said was a damned lie.
No.
Oh, come on.
A damned lie.
So it is gay?
Peddled by the papers of the time.
No. Yellow journalism about the Red Sash Gang.
Yeah. Thing about the Red Sash Gang was
Uh-huh.
it was like saying I'm in the black shirt gang. Cowboys at the time they took it from the Mexican cowboys.
Mexican?
And they would just wear like a red sash. It was seriously as innocent as being.
It was a thing to do at the time.
Yeah,
Sashes only come in a couple colors.
Mhm.
but it's a thing where you can scare up something and be like, hey, this is a thing.
Hey, they got the Raider jacket crew.
Yeah.
Well, they're all wearing Raider jackets, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the background here.
Okay.
All right.
What were we just in?
The foreground.
That was
Fucking asshole.
that was a damned lie.
Oh, okay.
If you might remember. Now, in the West, fighting over land was a thing, but it became a bigger deal out in Montana, Wyoming.
Lots of land.
Lots of land. And the Homestead Acts
That's right.
would allow for a lot of people to settle on this land that was public. Okay?
Tell that to the native American.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right. But the thing was, it was favorable to not so much this far west, but it was favorable to freed slaves.
Oh.
And that was
Get out there and make your own way.
and it was very helpful to the point that by the time of this story, after the first Homestead Acts are passed, further east, a quarter of black farm workers were farm owners, right?
Wow.
So they actually got land and were able to, really, make their own way.
Well, still, I mean, I'm guessing a lot of those were still did they own the farm that was owned by a larger thing?
No,
owned by a
this
white
is,
guy?
This is a homestead. This is your land. You can work it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you're still not in the Jim Crow South. You know what I
Right,
mean?
sure.
Let's not get it twisted. But it is a boon in that sort of way.
Yeah.
But further out here, we have a lot more immigrants, and it's from Italy,
Germany's.
or Germany.
Alemania.
Now here's the thing, right?
Uh-huh.
So they were calling this the Western Civil War of Incorporation around this
Doesn't
time.
roll off the tongue, but
Yeah,
And the Johnson County War was a part of that. Now, early Wyoming, public domain land, okay? And so you could, it was open for open range farmlands as well as homesteading, where you would have a homestead, But
now,
also,
paint a picture for me. So you'd go out into this what is public land. You'd go out and you just set up 4 markers and you make a square land, or what's the limits of that?
no, there are no limits. There are no limits. Like it's the homesteads.
Whatever you can make a fence around.
The homesteads are in the minority, but you would want to, let's say, perhaps, take the tract of land that you could get as one that might behoove you some water resources.
Sure, yeah, you
and
try to
stuff.
get one near the river.
And
shit in it.
well, you gotta get these cattle water, and
Yeah.
and you need water.
And you gotta lead the horse to water, but
Mhm.
unfortunately,
not make
Can't
it
make
rain.
it. Yeah.
make it.
No.
I'll make it drink. So it's basically whatever you can manage. If you can manage it, it's yours.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
want to bite off more you can chew.
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of people going there to do this, they would be what they called nesters or grangers. Okay,
Okay.
and what they would do is they would have these small amounts of cattle, and they would manage them on their land and on the public domain land.
Right.
But you also had very wealthy cattle barons that wouldn't even step foot in Johnson County and would be down there in Cheyenne, sitting in the Cheyenne's Gentlemen's Club,
Yeah, with their boots up,
with their boots up,
soaking big old stogies.
sucking on their big old cock cigars,
Oh, uncut
big top hats,
monocles,
That sounds pretty nice.
pocket watches and such.
Yeah, you gotta know what time it is.
Cummerbunds. That's what I call John at nighttime. I call him cummerbund.
Come here, my little cummerbund. That's what he says, and I come running.
Yeah, the cum is running down your buns.
Yeah, you come
oh my
running.
God.
Yeah, you're cummerbund.
And sometimes, you would have they would have these roundups, and you would
Now that causes cancer.
In the future.
in the future.
Okay, got it.
But this ain't no chemical I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about a roundup of the cattle.
Roundup.
Wrestle.
And you would see the different brands, and then you would know who had what,
Right.
and
This one belongs to the Nexium cult. This one kinky ass heifer.
so then you would, suss out whose is whose, and everybody would get their due, and sometimes you would have maybe a cow with no brand, and then where's that going to go?
Oh.
Right? And maybe some of the branded cattle go missing.
Uh-oh.
Understand?
Womp.
And but the cattle barons were monopolizing large tracts of land, especially in the areas where they had the resources like water, like I'm saying. And so the small businessman and the big businessman who never steps foot in Johnson County are automatically locked in a bit of a war. And they have a terrible winter, 86 to 87, and that they lose thousands of cattle. Right, the temperatures get so low.
Whoops.
Negative 40 to 50 degrees.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah. And
This is in Wyoming? And
yes. And then the following summer is extremely dry and hot.
Ain't that the case?
Yeah. And no one knew this for some reason?
So
Well, they knew it at the time.
Yeah, they knew it.
so now you're dealing with a loss, right? The middle class and the upper class alike.
Yeah,
But the upper class has access, Aaron.
that's right. As they always do.
And what they say is that there's rustling going on. That these cattle are being stolen.
And when really they're actually...
Times are tough.
Yeah.
Like they are for everyone.
right.
So the cattle are dead, but they're claiming it's been stolen.
Well, and let's not. Here's the thing: is that it's not as if there wasn't rustling going on, but nothing to speak of.
Right. The real rustling was done by Mother Nature.
That's right.
Yes.
And you can't file an insurance claim for that.
You can try.
Wyoming then legislature then passes the Maverick Act, which says every unbranded cattle belongs to the big ranchers.
Oh, what?
The Maverick was the guy who's making that deal. That's
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe they even called it that.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to make you want to kill us.
It's called the Ass Fucking Hole Act.
And the cattle barons also keep a grip on the stock interest by limiting the number of small ranchers and grangers who could participate in the roundups.
Oh, who would have
And
guessed?
they say that their own employees cannot own cattle.
Jesus
Right?
Christ.
The guys that are there rounding up their cattle, you can't have any. And I'm talking about buying your own cow.
Yeah, nope, sorry. Non-compete.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Bullshit.
And so, but the thing is that the homesteaders have the numbers, and
More of them than
there's more of them, and they are about to organize. They would go into these legal battles over rustling accusations and things that were favorable, and they were jury systems. So they would encourage everybody to get into the jury to be like, hey, fight for our rights. You guys, you can afford jury duty. You know what I mean? So but they still had so much corruption in the legislature that they still were losing. So the big ranching outfits, they form into the Wyoming Stock Growers Association, the WSGA. And they hang out at the Cheyenne Club in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Of course, yeah.
With the monocles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some of the state's wealthiest and most influential residents. And they organized the roundups and the cattle shipments. And they employed an agency of detectives to investigate allegations of rustling.
Fucking Stinkertons.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that this area is very close to an area called the Hole in the Wall that you might know from the Hole in the Wall gang.
Of course, yes.
And
And what do they do with that hole in the wall, John?
Well, it's actually kind of an amazing thing. You can see an aerial.
Yeah, you put your dick there
Okay.
and somebody sucks it.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
fucking incredible.
This one's called The Kid.
It's for the free market at work.
Wait till the kid gets you.
If you see an aerial photograph of this area of land called the Hole in the Wall,
It's fucking covered in cum.
drenched.
It's
Splax and Bollock.
Splax and Bollock on a map.
Splax and Bollock was here.
Yeah.
But you can see that there's this curvature into one of these cliffs where it provides this thing where they know the Hole in the Wall is where the Wild Bunch, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid,
That's
they're hanging out there. The Hole in the Wall gang's hanging
Now,
out
who's
there.
in the Hole in the Wall gang? Billy the Kid?
No. No,
You said-
he's more south.
Yeah. Southwest.
Yeah, southwest.
Who's in the Hole in the Wall gang?
Let's see.
I've heard of it, but I don't know shit.
Well, I mean, if it's Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
No, because that's the Wild Bunch.
Okay.
So they were a different crew.
Okay.
Hole in the Wall gang, let's see, is Tom O'Day, alias Joe Chancellor.
That's a good one.
Yeah, better than Tom O'Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was a thing where I'll bring up the thing here so you can see what I'm talking about. See that?
Oh yeah, it's like almost like a stadium carved into the cliff.
Yes.
Like a bowl, like almost looks like a quarry.
So the law
Yeah.
could not come in here without lookouts being able to tip off
Right.
the gang. So it was like a place where the outlaws could feel safe all of the time.
Right.
And they also took care of the cabins and the stables and all that stuff.
The glory holes.
Yes, of course. And the gentlemen's clubs, the manholes.
Yeah, so
This is man country.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance were part of the Wild Bunch was part of the Hole in the Wall gang.
But yeah, I think they were kind of they're
It's a wholly owned subsidiary.
right. Yeah, they're
Along with George Flatnose Curry and Harvey Kid Curry Logan.
good Irish boy.
Yeah. Kid Curry's brother, Lonnie Curry.
Logan.
Kid Curry is goat curry.
Laughing Sam Carey. Oh, Blackjack Ketchum was part of it. Remember Blackjack?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the dumbest criminals of all
Gotta
time.
catch him.
So because these guys would also come into Johnson County, the rustlers would be among the homesteaders, but they were also all poorer people. Poorer people always go to the same places.
Yeah.
But they use this indistinguishability to target small business owners that had nothing to do with crime whatsoever.
Right.
But it's not as if to say there wasn't rustling going on, and the vigilantism against them had been popularized in the 1880s by a gang called Stewart Stranglers. Okay, now this is in Montana.
Okay.
Strangler.
And they're a vigilante crew.
They were a vigilante crew. The rustlers were operating in well-organized networks that stole stock in one region and sold it in another, a lot of times going over the border to Canada.
Cool.
So they would...
Better return, huh?
Yeah, good exchange.
They lobbied for a bill that would place a bounty on coyotes and wolves, literally. And they wanted a thing to hire inspectors to investigate the rustling. And the judge was like, this gives way too much power to the inspectors, and I can't pass it. So
They got a new judge.
this guy, Granville...
Kill that judge.
this guy, Granville Stewart,
Granville.
he gets... his stallion and 35 steers are stolen.
They took the stallion. I want the stallion. Is what he said.
Yeah.
His main man.
And he got 14 fellas together,
Good guys.
Uh-huh.
and they called themselves a vigilante committee, and they became known as Stewart's Stranglers. The missions were led by Floppin' Bill Cantrell.
Floppin' Bill.
Floppin' Bill.
Yeah, because he had a big old donger.
Oh,
and he used to slap it all over the
He
place.
used it as the reins on his horse.
So at the time you could see the Stranglers, it might be 17 fellers, could be as many as 40.
40?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fellers.
Yeah. That's a whole town right there.
And they tracked down the thieves. They were shot in gunfights or lynched. They would hang up bodies that said horse thief or cattle thief. And they were known for being extremely deadly and efficient.
Uh-huh.
And they also would kill range squatters, allegedly. People just trying to make a living on the land.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling they just kind of killed a lot of people and said, yeah, that was a cattle thief.
But
over
these
there.
are
This
not-
one
but-
guy
but-
brought salsa from New York City.
But these are not bounties, too. Let's not forget. This is...
Yeah, but it's some good free killing.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like there's a not a fine line, or maybe it's a kind of nebulous line between squatter and homesteader. Or if you're just squatting on somebody's homestead who is basically squatting on public property.
Yeah. You're squatting.
You can't double squat. You can't triple squat a double squat.
No, the homesteaders. If you have a homestead, it's known as your land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. And you have neighbors that'll stick up for you.
Well, you probably have a piece of paper or something at some point.
Oh, well, a piece
Yeah.
of paper.
Because there would be a guy, you know, at least I remember,
Surveyor.
with the government who'd go like write down your name and
Yeah.
your plot.
Yeah, it's you know, there's a book.
Yeah.
They probably keep it in a safe place with the list of names.
So this is like 1884-ish, and Stewart and Floppin' Bill or Floppin', what the fuck is his name?
Floppin' Bill.
Floppin' Bill. They're hunting down Stringer Jack.
Oh,
And his rustlers in the Muscle Shell River. And Jack's gang managed to get across the river with some stolen horses, and the Stranglers were hotly and stealthily in pursuit. And they went into a cabin owned by Old Man James.
old man James.
And the Stranglers surround the place, and they released the horses so the guys couldn't escape, and the gang defied, and a gunfight ensued. The Stranglers set fire to the cabin. 9 rustlers dead. Granville Stewart himself described the battle. 2 of the vigilantes crawled up and set fire to the haystack in the cabin. The men inside stationed themselves at portholes and kept up the fight until they were all killed or burned up. The cabin burned to the ground. The tent was near the riverbank and almost surrounded by thick brush, and it was easier to escape from it than to get out of the cabin. Stringer Jack crawled under the tent and reached a dense clump of willows from which he made his last stand. Dixie Burr, his arm smashed by a rifle bullet, hid in an old dry well until dark and then made his escape. Rose, Nickerson, Edwards, and Swiftbill also slipped out of the tent and got away in the dark. Every one of the outlaws in the gun battle at Bates Point was either killed or wounded with the exception of Eds and Nickerson, who, for the time being, got away unscathed.
And they supped on jerky meat and fine oats.
They broke their fast.
Wait, so I'm a little confused here. So the cattle thieves, they hid out in a house.
Mm-hmm. By Old Man James.
And so the
Vigilantes lit fire to the haystack
Yeah.
and let the horses out, so
And-
they didn't have a means of escape. Basically, slashing their tires.
yeah, and then tried to burn them. And what happened to old Jack?
Old Man James?
James.
Oh,
yeah.
they don't say, but I would imagine if he lived in there, he was burned up.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah, he was very old.
You got to kill at least one innocent guy to kill a bunch of thieves.
So after this point, this battle at Bates Point, there was 160 cattle there. After they took their cattle,
after the
strike,
vigilantes
Yeah.
took the cattle away from the rustlers.
there was only 69 left that weren't theirs. So there was 100 stolen cattle.
Okay.
And Stewart brought them all to his ranch and advertised, everybody come get your cattle.
Because they're all branded. And
'Cause
you
they're
go,
all-
that's
yeah.
yours, that's yours. No, that's not fucking yours, dude.
And
Who
then,
put a dick on this
and
one?
then after that, the vigilante group is dissolved, right?
Till next good drinking night.
They had returned over 300 horses to their owners.
Wow.
The Stranglers killed up to 20 rustlers, they said. Newspaper said it might have been more to like 75 to 100, and including squatters. But there's no evidence to support that. And then they made Granville Stewart the president of the Stock Growers Association. Because
The WSJA.
well, no, because we're not in Wyoming. This is just in Montana.
Wow.
And it had so much notoriety during the time that none other than Theo Roosevelt tries to join them.
The Stalkers or the Stranglers,
The Stranglers.
which had been dissolved.
Well, but
Wink, wink.
while they were live, this is part of that time in Roosevelt after his fucking mother and his wife died.
Same
And
day,
yeah.
basically.
they died on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Bummer.
And then he went out west and became like a sheriff and shit like
Yeah.
that. And he heard so much about Stewart's Stranglers that he asked to join.
Yeah.
And Stewart said no because he was like, it'll bring too much attention.
Yeah, one way to get rid of grief.
yeah.
Kill.
Pretty
Rustlers.
fucking crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Theo Roosevelt wants to join?
You should have tried wrestling.
Just looking for blood.
That's right.
So like I was saying, like it can't be said that rustling is not a thing and people don't know about it.
Right.
And outlawing rustling is popular, especially when you have a bunch of yellow journalism
Right.
that is going to.
Yeah, when you have something that is popular, which is avenging rustling, it now you can weaponize it because it's so popular. It's like saying, anti-terrorism.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the color
How do
code.
we fight that?
Yeah.
With bombs?
Terrorism.
Convenient.
So one of the guys that was known for eliminating the rustling in Wyoming was a guy by the name of Frank M. Canton. And he, of course, was a cattle rustler.
Is that the name of his gang?
It's a photo of him.
Solid guy, good guy, nice.
Oh, is it snowing?
Yeah, he looks like he's fucking.
It's
He looks
fucking
like
40 degrees over
Yeah.
there. Huh?
looks like fucking Stalin.
Yeah, it does look like a Rusky.
But yeah, he was a real bad piece of shit. He robbed a bank in Comanche, Texas. He escaped from the Texas Ranger custody. He was robbing banks. He was rustling cattle in Texas, and that was a capital offense back then in the 70s, 1870s. But that thing, like they show in Young Guns, it's like the outlaws become the sheriff as easily as long as you're willing to kill a man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do you want to do it for your own benefit, or do you want to do it for the state?
That's right, man. We regulate any stealing of this property. We're damn good. Get
right.
a geek off the street.
Yeah.
Gotta be handy with the steal, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
It's true.
Regulators.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Down up.
Different gang.
Yeah.
Same idea, though.
Now, was it a clear black night and a clear dark moon?
So, this is something that historian Harry Sinclair Drago said about Canton. Frank M. Canton. He said, merciless, congenital, emotionless killer. For pay, he murdered 8, very likely 10 men.
But he didn't do it for no reason, at least.
He did it for pay.
Yeah.
Now, Cattle Kate,
Cattle Kate.
her that was her alias. Her real name was Ella Watson. And there was a range detective from the WSGA, the Rich Cattle Barons Association, named George Henderson. He accused Ella Watson, a local rancher, of stealing cattle from a fellow rancher by the name of Albert Bothwell. And they sent riders to seize Watson before capturing her husband, Jim Averill, as well. Now, Cattle Kate had also come from Texas, and she had been beaten by a man with a whip.
Oh, it's not good.
No, not in the way she liked.
Not in the consensual.
No.
Consensual, non-consensual.
And she was a rare woman in that she struck out on her own at a time where women didn't strike out on their own.
Right.
And she did become an independent businesswoman. And she would marry Jim Averill, but it would be very much on the hush-hush because they had adjoining cattle lands. And if you're married to a man, you can't have a separate land.
Right. It's
But-
all one.
But they were up against the land of this neighboring guy from the WSGA, and they were fighting over this access to water. So they just want them wiped out strictly for resource reasons.
Right.
Okay? So the rustling accusation comes as a total cover.
Right.
There's never been any evidence to support
But they
whatsoever.
accuse them of that just for the access to.
Yeah. So
They besmirch their good name.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they lynched them on the land.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And-
Both of them.
And it was a rare case where a woman was lynched, and that really set the fucking local populace on fire.
Yeah.
And also too, people kind of know what's coming. People because there's been a lot of intimidation before there's been violence.
Right. This is the last resort of desperate rich people.
Yeah, right.
And they put out stuff after the lynching saying that she was a whore, he was her pimp, and it was sort of
But that's not lynch-worthy.
no.
Well, besmirching the name.
No, the rustling would have been the lynching crime.
But also, she was a whore. I swear. I
Yeah.
fucked her. She sucked.
And it sort of had a little bit of traction, they knew, because the cowboys would come to her to fix their clothing. So she would have man traffic coming up that way. But it was also known that her and Jim are a thing. And
And they don't do that kind of stuff. Not anymore.
No,
I mean,
Yeah.
in their 20s, sure, they had an open kind of thing.
But that's why they left
then
Texas. New life.
They settled down.
Yeah.
And they stopped,
Whoring.
Yeah.
who were in. So yeah, the local populace is appalled. And the county sheriff, Frank Hadsell, arrested 6 men for the lynching, and a trial date was set. Before the trial, one of the witnesses was young Gene Crowder, and he disappeared.
Gene?
And an old man showed up.
And Jim Averill's nephew and foreman, Frank Buchanan, disappeared.
Oh, my gosh.
And Ralph Cole, another nephew, died on the day of the trial from poisoning.
Oh, my God.
So it is it's
This is some Killers of the Flower Moon shit.
The thing about this, it's a thing where the interesting thing about this point is it's this thing in American politics where the Civil War doesn't matter anymore, and we start seeing the dawn of like the the stock market crash and the Great Depression thing, where it's just class war. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure, yeah.
Like we're not on,
it's not a two-side. It's not a.
It's
an ideological war.
It's haves and have-nots.
Right.
Big time.
And the haves want more.
And the haves you're going to see completely shameless and assured of victory.
Well, how do you think they got to be halves?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were born into it. I don't know.
So the homesteaders are not thrilled with this.
No.
The range detective who accused Cattle Kate was murdered near Sweetwater Creek.
Good.
That's 1890.
Also, he was a whore.
Yeah. He loved it.
It was gay for pay. We tried to get him to pray it away. What do you say? It just may.
And so the cattle barons lynched Tom Wagner and a friend of Wagner named Jimmy the Butcher.
Now, was he a butcher or?
He's a barber.
He had actually been arrested for rustling cattle before, and he was murdered. A range detective for the Stock Growers Association by the name of Thomas Smith killed a suspected rustler, and when he was indicted for murder, the political connections to the Stock Growers Association secured his release. And so after the lynchings of the most prominent competitors, the WSGA's control over the range was undisputed until there was a new group of small ranchers called the Northern Wyoming Farmers and Stock Growers Association, NWFSGA.
So close, yeah.
Straight out of Cheyenne.
and that was led by a local cowboy by the name of Nate Champion.
Nate Champion.
Fantastic.
So they view this as a threat immediately.
Of course.
Because...
And I took that personally.
And they blacklist the members of the NWFSGA from the roundups. And the NWFSGA says, we're going to have all roundups.
Two can play at that game.
So the WSGA send out a bunch of guys to kill Champion. Now, on November 1st, 1891, Champion was sleeping with another man named Ross Gilbertson.
Yeah, that's a cowboy.
Yeah.
Ross. It was a will they, won't they? They will.
And they did.
Bareback that mountain, baby.
They were sleeping in a cabin near Middle Fork on the Powder River. A group of armed men went inside. Ugh! The cabin was so small, only two could fit in it.
And it stunk.
So I'm led to believe that Ross wasn't sleeping in a separate bed.
I don't think so.
Well, you gotta cuddle up for warmth.
They were in a spunk bed. Right on top of each other.
I want to be
One mattress.
I want to be on top tonight. See my handkerchief?
So there's two going in. There's four outside.
I mean,
Champion and Ross in bed, sleeping peacefully, in love. Swallow, the belly's full of spunk.
Oh, and most of it's theirs.
It's cold.
Yeah, you don't want to waste a good warm spunk.
We're all out of cocoa.
Well, let me brew something up real quick.
Yeah, white chocolate
I'm
we had
sure I
last
can
night.
think of something.
God damn it.
Okay. So
Hey, Ross? Yeah,
Champion,
Nate. You
Champion.
think you could whip me up some more of that hot stuff?
I'm depleted right about now, Ross.
Give me a few.
Maybe you can make me some.
I just ate the last of the asparagus. You don't want none of that, buddy.
The asparagus in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Why not? It might be there. I don't.
Yeah,
We brought it from home.
What do I look like, a fucking cowpoke?
No.
Cowpoke.
That's what they were doing.
And
Exactly.
they were. So Champion immediately wakes up. All right.
Hey, another man's here.
Wipes the spunk from his mustache.
So the gunmen have their pistols out. Champion, he gets his own pistol out, And he shoots two of them,
Cool.
immediately killing a gunman by the name of Billy Latkins.
Good.
And they hightail it out of there.
These homos are crack shots.
The gun was so close to his own face that he had gunpowder burns on his face.
It's a quick draw.
Nate Champion.
Well, that's how he serves it up so much.
This one's really fun for me to do because I'm just going to let you know right now. Nate Champion, aptly named straight up hero.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Cool.
It's and my next profile, folks, by the way, will be a villain, quite a villain.
Ooh.
So stay tuned for that.
Thanos?
Yeah, this guy's he's a little sillier than that.
Okay.
So
Moment.
there was an investigation of the attack later, and the names of those involved in the attack were leaked to two ranchers by the name of John A. Tisdale and Orly Jones.
Orly.
But both men were ambushed and murdered, so you couldn't find out who was in the gang. So like this thing was like killing witnesses. Like this is a well orchestrated campaign.
Yes.
Against small business owners.
Yeah.
And that outrages the local ranchers and homesteaders in the community as well, of course. Now, the WSGA, led by Frank Wolcott, who was a former Union general, and it was also, of course, a landholder, or not even a landholder, really just a cattle holder. He hired gunmen with the intention of eliminating alleged rustlers in Johnson County and breaking up the NWF-SGA. So they now at the time, the prominent names are seeing the writing on the wall and they're taking sides. Now the governor goes with the cattle barons.
He doesn't want to die.
Now there was a former cowboy, an Indian War veteran, and a sheriff of Buffalo, Wyoming, by the name of Red Angus.
Red Angus?
Red Angus was like, these cattle barons are picking on these poor homesteaders, and I don't think that's right. I just got me a way about the Bible, and I just don't think it's right.
And if the two fellas want to spunk bed each other up in their cabin, well, that's mind your own beeswax.
And if you pay $1, you can watch it.
Yeah. Through a hole in the wall. Gang.
Now, the cattle barons, they sent agents to Texas. Agents.
Oh.
And these guys become known as the Evaders because they're Texans.
The Invaders?
Invaders.
So they bring the Texas boys in to...
Well, also,
The invader descendants.
if you tell a man from Texas, hey, that guy steals cattle, and he's not from there, he'll shoot him dead.
Right.
Now, also, these boys are going to be getting $5 a day and $50 a dead man. Now, $50 a dead man.
Jesus.
$50 a dead man, and that times money is about $2,000 now.
Hey, I'll kill a guy for 2 G's.
You'll kill a guy for $50.
Nah, well,
I'll pay $50 to kill a guy.
it is true. It shows how really cheap these guys are. They'll give you $2,000 to kill a man and live with it for the rest of your days. But these guys were already killers, so they didn't give a fuck. And they had already made a habit of this. They had sent other Texans before to intimidate people. John J. Baker said the Texans ambushed and killed 9 trappers whom they mistook for rustlers in Big Dry Creek, and they got $450 for the slaughter.
For the slaughter.
Of trappers.
Yeah.
These guys are catching squirrels and shit.
Yeah.
You know? So in Gay Paris, Texas, they rustle up.
But is it PR?
It's Paris.
It's Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Paris, California, Perris. That's right.
Oh.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's plenty of that there.
These fucking dipshits get together 23 gunmen in Paris, Texas. 4 cattle detectives from Wyoming. Wyoming dignitaries also joined the expedition, including
Wyoming has dignitaries?
The richest guy.
State Senator Bob Tisdale, State Water Commissioner
That's a big...
That's more important than the senator.
W.J. Clark,
W.J.
and William C. Irvine and Hubert Teschmacher. And they were guys that actually created the state of Wyoming with others. And
That's convenient.
just 4 years earlier.
Right.
And They were accompanied by a surgeon, Charles Bingham Penrose, a reporter for the Cheyenne Sun, and a reporter for the Chicago Herald. They sent 2 reporters with a gang of assassins to kill people that were alleged rustlers that
Which were not rustlers.
not rustlers at all. But they are they are writing the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can control it
Because
that way.
if you're the first one to do it, that's the genius there is that, all right, we're going to send the reporters there, and they'll get the drop. They'll get, the jump on the story before anyone else does, and the first one to tell the lie wins, right?
Right. And you're so spread out there that you ride down the road, you tell some guy in a shack, and he goes, oh, well, that's the facts.
Yeah.
So, like, there were a lot of locals later that still were, like, on the side of the WSGA because they just got, or they worked for the WSGA, rounding up the cattle, whatever. But they could just believe these lies, And like I said, of course, there were also actual criminals. But
It's printed on paper. It's truth.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Expensive.
So the total expedition is 50 men. And they hire Frank M. Canton, himself a cattle thief, convicted bank robber.
Stalin-esque.
Bad guy.
Real piece of shit. And his gripsack was later found to contain a list of 7 county residents to either be shot or hanged.
Well,
This is
He had a kill list.
this is and they're all going to see it done to completion.
to completion.
Yeah,
Now, do they believe that they are?
regulators.
So these assassins that they're sending, do they believe that they are exacting justice upon rustlers, or do they know that it's a
They're
farce?
told. Well, why would you go to Texas? I mean, it doesn't matter. They're murderers and they're getting paid handsomely,
Yeah.
and they're also protected by men of interest, right? And state officials. Right? They're there.
Yeah.
They have a fucking surgeon with them. You never go rob a bank with a surgeon in case you get shot.
Well, yeah, you got to prepare yourself.
No, what you do is even the surgeon go to the bank and pretend like he's gonna do something, and he's gonna like.
You even might
add
rough
money.
them up a bit just to make the theatrics work.
John Clay was a big Wyoming businessman that was accused of being a major player in the planning of this, and he denied it later, saying he was out of the country at the time.
Yeah, he was in Canada
For a thing.
to see his other girlfriend.
So they organized in Cheyenne, and they take the train to Casper, Wyoming, and then towards Johnson County on horseback, cutting the telegraph lines so nobody can warn them.
How are these guys going to follow these reports?
While on horseback, Canton and the gunmen traveled ahead of the party of the rich men and the reporters and all that. The first target of the WSGA was Nate Champion.
Homosexual hero.
Yeah. I can't quit you.
Goddamn you, Jack Twist.
He was at the KC Ranch at the time.
He seems like the boss. You should save him for the end, Because he seems like
he started the North Wyoming
That's what I mean. I guess they're trying to cut the head off.
Stock Growers Association. Yeah. Oh, and they already tried to kill him once. Like this is not about cattle rustling.
No.
This is about organized.
Monopolizing.
Yeah.
But it's also about hanging out with your friends, going on a road trip.
Well, Nate Champion's hanging out with his friends.
Oh,
He's got
right.
about 4 boys in the cabin that only fucking 4 can fit into. So who knows where they all slept?
He's got 4 boys in his cabin?
Well, let's not call them boys. They're let's call them boys.
Okay.
John, you'd be amazed how many clowns you could fit in a car if they're all fucking each other.
Which they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're making that noise. They squeeze their nose, but it ain't their nose.
Now these guys, these 23
They don't have big shoes. You know what that means.
we're gonna meet a guy with a big nose later. So this is 5 months after the first assassination attempt of Nate Champion. On April 8th, 1892, they quietly surround the buildings and they wait for daybreak. There was 3 men besides Champion. Okay.
And there's one man inside.
Which means he's like 2 men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's a centaur. Prop me up.
Get that Ogbesion out of the way. I got some killing to do.
So there was 2 guys that were I think they were just like passing through and they went down to the Powder River, to collect water, and they were captured, And this other guy, Nick Ray, I don't know what happened to Ross. He comes out the door. He gets shot. And Nate Champion drags him back in the cabin. Watches old Nick Ray die. And Champion is back inside the log cabin. He holds out for several hours. Wounds 3 of the vigilantes. And was said to have killed at least 4 others.
Jesus. How many bullets does this guy have?
Enough.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy, another Granger, going by the name of Jack Flag. And he's passing
2
by.
G's?
Yep.
Awesome.
I love that.
He's going by, he sees the siege, and he says to himself, what in the heck?
What
the
Power
hell?
Nation?
What's going on over there? Nate Champion standing
I
over
better
there.
get a closer look.
The invaders get a look. They see this guy, and they go, he's on our list too. Let's get him.
Oh,
Jack Flag.
What's your name? Was he really on the list, or they just said?
Well, they have the 4 detectives. So they actually do, like, these guys actually
He
know.
really is on the list.
He is on the list.
It wasn't just a, hey, he's on the list.
But he's just, that means he's another business owner.
There's a guy over there.
Yeah.
Get him.
So he rides away. The invaders start chasing Jack Flag. And he's got his rifle, so he fires back at them. They fuck off.
Good.
And now Jack Flag is going to make his way to Red Angus.
Uh-oh.
Boy, at Red Angus.
But he's on the way there. He stops at Black Angus.
Yeah, to get
He gets himself a nice steak.
I mean, there's plenty of steak for everybody. Oh, well, not the rich. But so he's headed for Red Angus, which don't forget is the sheriff now that's favorable to the homesteaders.
That's right.
Now, meanwhile, inside the cabin, let's go back to the cabin. Nate Champion is fighting off these fellers. He's shooting them. He's killing them. And they say he might have killed as many as 8 more, not just 4, and wounded God knows how many. But he put up a motherfucker
Against basically 50 guys.
and in a surrounded cabin.
Yeah.
And he starts journaling
While?
in between killing and wounding these men.
I got to question that judgment.
Well, maybe he said, excuse me, boys. I got a little writing to do.
Journal break.
But they also probably know that he killed people before,
Right.
and time is on their side, you know.
Wait him out.
So and he writes in this journal, and he says, "Boys, I feel pretty lonesome just now. I wish there was someone here with me so we could watch all sides at once." Well, the last journal entry says, "They just got through shelling the house like hell. I heard them splitting wood. I guess they're going to fire the house tonight. I think I will make a break when night comes, if alive. Shooting again. It's not night yet. The house is all fired. Goodbye, boys, if I ever see you again." Nate Champion
And
puts the journal in his pocket, grabs his rifle
and goes
and
out.
his revolver, and goes out blasting and is shot 28 times to death.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Should have put the journal over his heart because it doesn't sound like they ruined that.
If it was a thick
Yeah.
journal, might have stopped the bullet.
Yeah. No, but also there's probably 27 other bullets
Yeah,
that
that
would
might have
have.
stopped it.
Well, this journal might be something of a Rorschach's journal. And we'll find out right after this break. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back. What'd you think about that fella getting shot down like that, Aaron?
Champion's Journal. November 1891.
Tonight, a gay guy died.
And nobody comes.
I have no idea if Nate Champion is gay or not. I just.
In this story, he is.
He only talks about boys in the thing. He just says the boys. The letters are just. It's not some long lost love.
Oh,
right?
and in his Rorschach journal, every picture looks like 2 guys fucking.
No, it was just back in the cabin again, you know? Log cabin Republicans.
Oh, yeah.
Abe Lincoln. Log cabins are, noted homosexual hangouts.
Yeah, and cool.
Which is very cool.
They have a fucking statue of Nate Champion coming out with the rifle and the revolver
Hell yeah.
in Johnson County. And it is one of the most badass things I've ever seen.
That's so cool. Champion's Journal.
Now, Jack Flag,
2 G's.
he rode off to Buffalo.
New York State. Oh, to Buffalo, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he tells the townsfolk, now Red Angus, he puts together himself a posse of 200 men.
Jesus
That's fucking more than a
Christ.
posse, bro.
But now, don't forget, the homesteaders have been beat up for a long time, and they know that the noose is coming for them, too. Yeah. Don't forget, this is a list of 70 people on this thing.
Last stand.
Because Red Angus, he is amenable to the homesteaders.
Yeah.
He's a
veteran.
American, Christian.
Who knows?
Circumcised.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. Back in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, 200 men ride out, and a lot of them are Civil War veterans.
Oh, so they are angry.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
And so they set out on the night, April 10th. Now, the Stock Growers Association, they got a list of men to kill.
Yeah.
And
they're going to have to get some more paper.
They're moving on. They're going towards Buffalo. Big mistake.
There's
And
200 guys waiting for them.
Mm-hmm.
on the morning of the 11th, word reaches them that the posse's coming. And they take refuge in the TA Ranch. Now, that's in Crazy Woman Creek.
Crazy Woman Creek?
Yeah, I tried to find out why it's named that, and they're like, there's lots of reasons.
Yeah. Pick one. Now, okay.
Now, while they're taking off one of the killers by the name of Jim Dudley, he accidentally got his horse bucked, and he shot himself when his rifle fell to the ground, and it hit his knee, and he was taken to Fort McKinney to seek treatment, but he died 2 days later from the gangrene.
Whoops.
Dude, you got gangrene in 2 days?
Yeah, man.
God, these people were filthy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Rub some shit on it. It'd be right as rain.
Now, when you say rub some shit on it, do you mean rub some shit on it or like
Rub some shit in it.
Yeah. So now now don't forget, like, fucking Nate Champion is taking out a bunch, right? And then this other idiot shoots himself, and they hold up at the TA Ranch, and they're able to hold back the posse, and there's a siege that lasts 3 whole days, and they build pits on the ground for cover. And the posse,
the cool posse,
yeah, and
they make pits.
They kill the invaders' horses so they can't escape.
Good,
nice.
And the New York Times reported that 20 men tried to escape behind a fusillade, but the posse beat them back and killed about 3 or 5 of them.
So our posse, the good guy posse, is 200 guys.
Yeah.
How many? The assassins, they were numbered in 50.
And don't forget, not just assassins. You got the state senator in there. You got the reporter
you got
in there.
the surgeon.
You got the surgeon.
And Nate's killed upwards of 10.
Nate is probably killed at most 8, but some are wounded.
So let's say there's 25 to 30 left.
Right.
Against 200 unionized. Well organized. Malicious.
Now during that fight where they had the fusillade, it was another gunman, another killer from Texas by the name of Alex Lothar. He shoots his balls off. He bleeds to death.
Hey, wait, do you do that for fun?
No, he fucking, I don't know, he's pulling out of his holster.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Fucking Cheddar Bob.
Hey, guys, watch this. I can light my cigar with this thing. Oops.
Yeah, he shoots his balls off, bleeds to death.
Jesus fucking. Whoops. He's nutty.
Not again.
Not again.
Shot the stallion the first time. This time I've blown the grip sack.
Oh my God.
So one of the guys goes to one of the posse guys goes to Fort McKinney and hires a blacksmith to make a cannon. All right,
sir, this is a rush order.
Yeah.
yeah.
How quickly can you smelt a ton of ore?
The blacksmith is named Rap Brown.
Any relation to Doc?
Yeah. Probably not, because he tries out the cannon and blows up right away. But then he builds a siege engine.
A bad cannon is just a good bomb.
That's right.
Well, the siege engine,
A siege engine, okay.
which you know, what is that?
Basically a proto tank.
Proto tank, a thing where you can lift it up and it's iron or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can get close enough so that you can throw dynamite.
Yeah, you can get up and you can scale. You can get over walls or fortification, and it's armored-ish. I guess.
It allows. It's a big old shield. You can approach the enemy.
Yeah. So they do that. Now, one of the invaders named by the name of Mike Shanzi.
Shanzi.
Yeah. He slips out of the barn and he's able to contact the governor, who is sympathetic
To the WSGA.
to the cattle barons.
Fucking ass.
Late on the night of April 12th, Governor Barber telegraphed President Benjamin Harrison in the middle of the night, saying
the president everyone forgot.
and he's like, you got to help these boys out. The telegraph doesn't reach him for whatever reason, so they have two other senators go wake up the president and be like, you got to help this fucking guy out.
They were in bed next to him.
Yeah. That was Joseph M. Carey and Francis E. Warren.
They're shooting the balls off out there.
And they wake him up in the middle of the night to be like, yo, this is going on. And
President's asleep. Wake him up.
they say it's an insurrection in Johnson County. Harrison immediately ordered the U.S. Secretary of War under Article 4, Section 4, Clause 2 of the U.S. Constitution, which allows for the use of U.S. forces under the President's orders for protection from invasion and domestic violence.
Posse comitatus.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? If my West Wing.
I don't know.
You fucking tell us, dude. You just watched The West Wing.
There's a lot of episodes.
The 6th Cavalry comes from Fort McKinney.
1 through 5 were sleeping.
With each other.
And they take the WSGA into custody.
Wait. So I thought
They rescue
they take
the
him
invaders.
The U.S. government
by
shows
taking
up.
them into custody. That is a rescue.
Yeah.
I understand. I thought you meant into custody. Like
No.
arrested.
It's into protection, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
More like pussy comitatus.
2 in the
All right.
morning. Yeah, you're
You
right.
should copyright that one.
Yeah.
Colonel J.J. Van Horn negotiated with Sheriff Angus to lift the siege, and they were going to be handed to civilian authorities, but they took possession of Wolcott and 45 other men with 45 rifles, 41 revolvers, and 5,000 rounds of ammunition before escorting them first to Fort McKinney and then to Cheyenne. The text of the telegram to the president was printed on the front page of the New York Times on April 14th.
Damn.
The failing New York Times.
Yeah. They were taken to Cheyenne. They were held at the barracks, Fort D.A. Russell, and Laramie County Jail was unable to hold that many prisoners. They received preferential treatment and were allowed to roam the base by day as long as they returned to jail to sleep at night. Johnson County officials were upset the group was not kept locally at Fort McKinney. The general in charge of the 6th Cavalry felt that tensions were too high for
To leave our posse members.
to leave them that close to
Right.
people
Because they're seen as
invaders. They're called the invaders.
okay.
They were
So these are not our posse members that are these are.
Oh, no.
The invaders were arrested.
the invaders were all rounded up.
Right.
Yeah, it was a roundup. So a lot of locals sympathetic to both sides had visited Fort McKinney thinking they were going to be there, and Johnson County attorney began to gather evidence for the case, and details of the Stock Growers Association's plans emerged. Canton's gripsack was found to contain the list of 70 men.
And half a nut.
And houses to be burnt. Contract to pay each Texan $5 a day, $50 a man per dead body. And it was going to go on to counties far away, Douglas County and Casper County. That was this was going to go on and on. The Times reported on April 23rd that evidence is said to implicate more than 20 prominent stockmen of Cheyenne whose names have not been mentioned heretofore. Also, several wealthy stockmen of Omaha, as well as to compromise men in high authority of the state of Wyoming. They will all be charged with aiding and abetting the invasion, and warrants will be issued for the arrest of all of them.
Oh, nice.
But the corruption of the cattle barons made sure they all walked free.
Yeah.
Of course.
A wide-reaching and insidious conspiracy.
They said that Johnson County couldn't handle the cost of a prosecution, A lot of the guys from Texas, they just fucked off back to Texas.
Yeah.
Fucking don't gotta do shit. Now, the tensions are going to stay high in Johnson County.
Good.
On the 9th of May, U.S. Marshal George Wellman was ambushed and killed by locals en route to the town of Buffalo. It received national attention because Wellman was the only marshal to die in the war. He had been one of the hired guns who joined the invaders, and his death was grieved by a lot of people.
Oh, so this U.S. Marshal was a bad guy.
Yeah, he joined them, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you join the invaders,
Yeah.
you kind of lose your status as.
Well, they styled themselves also as Wolcott's regulators.
So they were regulars.
Yeah.
No, well, they would style themselves as such, but it was
It's an
armed
invading force.
armed lynch mob.
Yeah.
And yeah, why is people from Texas here? Get the fuck out of here. If Wright was on your side, everybody would be from Wyoming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the 6th Cavalry, after rescuing them, could not keep the peace in Johnson County because they were like, "You fucking freed these assholes."
Right.
Right. So they group of men set fire to the post and made a homemade bomb in the cavalry's barracks.
Oh, shit.
An officer,
It was
Charles
just
B.
a bad cannon.
What's this bad cannon doing here?
Charles B. Gatewood was seriously injured by the bomb blast and ended his career in the cavalry. The 9th Cavalry of Buffalo soldiers was ordered to Fort McKinney to replace the 6th.
What? They were Buffalo soldiers?
Yeah.
They were black?
Buffalo soldiers was purportedly given to the regiments by the American Indian tribes who fought against them during the American Indian Wars. Yeah, they would have been.
Yeah.
But
So,
that-
the 6th Cavalry fails in their job, and they go, you know what, just in the black guys.
but also it can firmly establish just because you have the uniform, it's not the same cavalry.
Right.
So that would be like
And they're black guys.
and black people would homestead, so maybe that would be more favorable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or it maybe, or it would create more problems, so more the U.S. government
Or
going
they're
sweep.
intimidated because these guys might fuck your wives. In their minds.
Yes, yes.
There was some violence. It incited a gunfight. One Buffalo soldier was killed, Willis Johnson. 2 others were wounded, and another Buffalo soldier by the name of Brown was also murdered, and a cowboy shot him. Johnson and Brown were buried next to each other, and these events forced the Army to retire the regiment from the place in November 1892. Phil Dufresne, a range detective and member of the Invaders, mysteriously disappeared.
Good.
In the fall of 1892, tensions were still running high. 2 alleged horse rustlers were gunned down by range detectives east of the Bighorn River. The killers escaped the law with assistance from Otto Frank, a rancher who had sided with the large cattle company faction. On May 24th, 1893, Nate Champion's brother Dudley came to Wyoming looking for work and was shot and killed in cold blood by Mike Shaughnessy. Mike Shaughnessy just saw him walking down the road, and Mike Shaughnessy had been accused of being one of the original guys in the cabin to kill Nate Champion the first time.
But we don't know for sure. But
We don't know for
rumored to
sure.
be the case.
But he got a hold of him at a bar one night and was like, "Tell me the names of the other guys that were."
Give me a name.
Yeah, and so Shaughnessy was either there and it was true, or he was mad over that thing, and he just killed Dudley walking down the street looking for
And
work.
He knew him. He recognized
He
him.
recognized him, yeah.
God, man, small world, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the Champions all have a very distinctive look to him.
Yeah.
And so he was the last death of the Johnson County War.
Dudley.
Dudley was. Fucking crazy. Can you imagine? Hey, y'all got any jobs? Bang!
Shit.
We got an opening now.
Now, some people were considering the wealthy landowners as heroes.
Ugh.
And and a lot of people would spin these tall tales on either side, and you would say that
The American West.
you would say that the Red Sash Gang employed the likes of Jesse James,
Oh.
right? And there's no reason to believe that Jesse James was ever part of anything in Johnson County.
Now, Robert Ford.
That coward.
He was all over it.
Yeah.
Or Jessie Jane. Now, she
Yeah.
probably took down a lot of guys.
Now the people on the side of the homesteaders, they would say that guys such as George Big Nose Parrott
No.
were on the side of Stockgrowers Association. Now, Big Nose George was a low-down, dirty dog, and his skin was made into a pair of shoes after he was dead.
That's right.
What?
Yes, that came up in another episode.
Yeah. And part of his skull was used as an ashtray.
Yeah, like RoboCop 3.
And it was
Man.
he
Skull ashtrays are pretty cool, man.
He had killed some lawmen, and him and his buddy, they got drunk and they talked about it, and then people realized you did that, so they killed him. They hanged him, and they studied his brain for clues about his criminality to see if there was abnormalities that would make you such a low down, dirty dog.
Really, they did?
Yes.
The high science of 1895.
Yeah. No, they.
So the top of his skull was cut off crudely, and
Cigarettes.
Which was then turned into an ashtray.
Cigarettes were stuffed into
it was presented to 16-year-old Lillian Heath, the medical assistant. 16-year-old medical assistant, that's right.
Yeah, but she was really
And
smart.
she would go on to become the first female doctor in Wyoming.
Hey!
Oh.
And she said to
And
use,
the largest madam in the state.
she used the skull cap as an ashtray, a pen holder, and a doorstop.
And a toilet.
They made a death mask of his face.
Made a Sibian from his groin.
The skin,
wasn't all that
the
was
skin, including the nipples, was sent to a tannery in Denver, where it was made into a pair of shoes and a medical bag.
What'd they use the nipple for? Like little tassels on the tip?
Yeah, probably like little flourishes on the tips of the
Yeah,
toes.
like brogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe they're still they're in a museum. Still, there's a picture of them.
Yeah,
We
and,
gotta see the nipple shoes.
and John Eugene Osborne, the
We
doctor,
have.
he kept the shoes after he was after being elected as the first Democratic governor of the state of Wyoming.
Cheers.
The body was stored in a whiskey barrel filled with salt solution for about a year, and then he was buried in a yard behind Thomas McGee, the doctor's office. And then in 1950, they did construction on the land, and they unearthed the whiskey barrel, and they found bones, and they were like,
This is some good shit.
they were like, here's a fucking, this guy's skull was cut off. And then fucking Lillian comes out and she's like, I got it. Let's put
Now
it
she's
on.
90 or whatever.
Yeah. She's 90 or whatever.
And she says what?
She's like, I got it. Let's see if it fits. And it fits perfect.
No way.
Yeah. They forgot all about Big Nose George.
She's like, this skull smells like
until
shit and
90.
cigarette butts.
They never found the medicine bag. I don't know what happened to the shoes.
If the skull fits.
No, the shoes are in a museum.
Oh, the shoes are in a museum? My bad.
Belongs in a museum.
So now, a lot of the people involved in this thing on the invader side were Democrats, but a lot of the ranchers were tied to the Republican Party that started the whole thing. The homesteaders were mostly Democrats, and the rescue by President Harrison, a Republican, was seen as so they flipped Wyoming blue in the next presidential election. They went for William Jennings Bryan against McKinley.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. And a lot of that was because of Asa Mercer, who found the journal of Nate Champion
Shit.
at the scene and then started publishing it. And he wrote this book called The Banditti of the Plains in 1894. And Asa Mercer, as we were talking about last time, he brought the Mercer girls to Seattle.
Washington, yeah.
To, get these lumberjacks laid.
Yeah, start breeding.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercer, was one of the guys writing that was being like, yo, there is a wrong thing happening to innocent business people in the state of Wyoming. And it was so plain.
Yeah.
But all of the yellow journalism was throwing all this fucking shit at the walls. Yeah. But this was class war in action. In a way, I don't think I've ever seen before in American history, where you had barons riding alongside politicians, riding alongside yellow journalists to tell the tale,
And surgeons.
with murderers,
Right.
known murderers.
It's true class warfare.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you wouldn't see true class warfare like this until the communist revolution, where actual, bodies mount up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
And the banditti of the plains, they said the copy in the Library of Congress was burned. Copies of the banditti of the plains couldn't be found. The Stock Growers Association were like, this Nate Champion Rorschach journal.
We can't let it.
We cannot let. So it was fucking excised from like libraries everywhere, and it of course you can't.
It only makes it more popular.
That's right. Yeah.
They seized and destroyed all but a few of the first edition copies from 1894. The most recent reprinting was in 2015.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Does it have the pictures?
Penguin.
Francis McElrath's 1902 novel *The Rustler* took inspiration from the Johnson County War. The Virginian 1902 Western novel by Owen Wister took side of wealthy ranchers. Jack Schaefer's popular 1949 novel *Shane*
Jack Palance
was on
pick up the gun
on the side of the homesteaders. The 1953 film *The Redhead of Wyoming*, starring Maureen O'Hara. Somebody said in the movie, it won't be long before they're calling you Cattle Kate.
Hey.
In True Grit, Rooster Cogburn is said to have been involved on the invaders' side
No
in
shit.
the Johnson County War. Films, Heaven's Gate.
Christopher Walken.
Did you know about it?
I'm familiar with the title and the cast.
He plays Nate Champion.
No shit.
Yeah, but they fuck up the story. They make it so that him and Jim Averill are fighting over Cattle Kate, and Nate Champion.
Hey, you, Jim, give me Kate.
This is he's much more leading man in 1980, like more dead zone walking.
Yeah.
He's not too walking out.
Yeah.
But the cast is stacked as fuck. The Law and Order guy.
Which one?
The main one.
Ice-T.
Fuck you. The main guy from the original.
Belzer.
No.
Lenny Briscoe?
The main guy from the original Law and Order series, he plays Frank. What's his? The guy that was the cattle rustler that was the murderer that went in. Frank Canton. Mickey Rourke is in it. Willem Dafoe is in it.
In Heaven's Gate.
Brad Dourif is in it.
Hell yeah, Chucky.
Dude. The cast is so stacked. It's fucking ridiculous.
You're gonna have to watch it. You're gonna have to have a screening.
I watched it right before I got here.
You did? Is it good?
Did. It's fine.
On paper, it's better.
57% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Audience score?
I don't remember the audience score. It's probably higher.
Yep.
There was a Johnson County War TV movie. And all those guys, they went off to other sheriff duties. All the invaders, they all live to be old men. It's a fucking disgrace. And the cattle barons had to deny involvement in the whole thing for the rest of their days. But
sleep with one.
Then farming would move towards the enclosed ranch system where you owned the property and you didn't have all, so there wasn't all that. But I mean, it's like these guys were living off public land, not having to feed their cattle, making $1 million, and they just still couldn't stand other people, But also, like it was sort of aided and abetted, I think, by a lot of the homesteaders being immigrants, and then you could use the other, and but it's such naked class war. I mean, the story just fucking chilled me to the bone, man.
How many? This is.
Nobody went to jail? What the fuck is going on?
It's a great example of something that I think probably happened more than we're aware of.
For sure, yeah.
Is that your feeling? That's your feeling as well, Matt, John?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They just got caught.
Yeah.
And barely. Like, they got caught and not punished, but like, this type of shit has got to happen in every industry all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
I'm sure it happened with oil.
Yeah.
He was an oil rustler.
Yeah, beaver pelt rustler.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, too, like I said, like, it's the middle of nowhere. There's not, word travels slow, but
Especially
also
when you cut the fucking telegraph.
Yeah. And like, again, like, there's a naked thing of like, well, they're from Texas? Why are they here?
That's very far from Wyoming.
Yeah. And you go like, well, they're being paid $50 a dead body for independent fucking businesses. Like, it's it's just fucking insane. And like I said, like, there was rustling going on, but I'm sure
not to the extent
not at all
that
to
these
the extent.
yellow
no.
journalists inflated, there's a fucking caravan of migrants from Venezuela, and they're all from insane asylums.
And they're going to take the black jobs.
Yeah. It's very easy to organize people from insane asylums into a caravan.
Yeah, they're notoriously organizable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of their insanity is how organizable they are.
But man, I mean,
capitalizing on hysteria is nothing new.
Yeah. But that
like
Nate,
you said, especially when they're immigrants.
that Nate Champion thing getting out,
Yeah.
and people just realizing like this is the founder of the Small Stock Growers Association, and he's first on the list of 70. And these guys were just going to go down that list with 2 reporters to say, "Oh, they killed this many rustlers."
2 reporters, so you know it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly,
But
yeah,
also, like the real grievances of Granville Stewart in Montana would embolden this narrative.
Right.
So it's like it's interesting to take in all of those things where you go like Theodore Roosevelt wanted to join Stewart's Stranglers, they were killing rustlers.
Right,
and then you go
right.
like, well, we can easily pivot that into killing independent cattle businessmen.
Yeah.
And word travels slow, and
Just paint them with a broad brush.
and we pay the papers. The Cheyenne papers, those are all owned by the cattlemen.
Yes.
It's fucking insane.
It'd be like if a guy who owns car companies and rocket companies owns also a big media.
Yeah. So yeah.
But like, this thing like with you also see this bravery on the behalf of Red Angus too. You know what I mean? He knows he's going against the governor.
Yeah.
He knows where the governor stands, and he's going like, this is a bunch of fucking Texans coming in and slaughtering people from Wyoming. And
The fuck's up with that?
People haven't done anything wrong. And then finally, the numbers that couldn't do anything in the jury were like, what we can do is get on fucking horseback and we can kill some fucking invaders.
Yeah, we've got
And
numbers.
Yeah, right.
And they were handing them their fucking asses, and they were
And balls.
and balls, and they were gonna be killed to a man, and they had to go cry fucking mommy to the president. Completely insane. 2 of the guys, but also like I understand for Harrison, he's like, I can't have 2 of the guys that founded the state of Wyoming get murdered by a bunch of people that everybody says are cattle thieves.
Yeah, he probably doesn't know who's good or
Yeah,
bad.
his ear isn't to the ground of fucking Wyoming politics.
Yeah.
He just wants to keep the peace.
Yeah.
More or less, right?
Yeah, but man, Nate Champion, dude, fucking
Hero.
it's
Folk hero.
It's insane. I gotta find the picture of,
Yeah,
of
you
the
wanna,
statue.
Do you want to see
Send it
it?
to Matt.
No, I got it right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Matt found it. Never mind, John.
No, it's not. Use a Facebook one. Here. This is the from the guy who made it.
Now, where does Megan the Stallion come into this? Yeah.
How
That is
insanely
an
cool.
awesome. Dude, he's got
Dude.
the revolver and the rifle. That's fucking awesome. Look, he's in an action pose.
Yeah, man.
He's got like a cool ponytail.
He's got his
there.
pants just pulled up.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's just a little cum stain there.
Yeah.
Mid coitus.
I wish you boys were here to take a window while I could jack off or something.
Yeah, it could at least alleviate some of the stress of this godforsaken situation with the nut.
Spunk Bed's feeling real lonely right now. Look at this other view of it.
He's got a little
There's a plaque.
plaque. Oh, look,
There's
you
a
can-
picture of him down
You
there.
can check out his ass. Wow, yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
dude, kind of looks like
Yeah.
fucking walking.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a Norman Osborn haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic accurate Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, a lot of people, and then you see the invaders picture over there.
Sucking mother.
They thought this was going to be a great outing.
Oh yeah, with their cool bowler hats. Get the fuck out of here.
They all went home with their fucking tails between their legs.
And one of the guys went home with his balls on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool looking statue though. Holy shit, that picture's.
Yeah, that could be outside Staples Center, or sorry,
Look at this. Look at this.
Arena.
Look at this. You're getting the full thing.
Dude, that is an epic fucking statue. Got a
Fucking incredible, dude.
Bandolier around the fucking great mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Finger on the trigger. It's the hammer is cocked.
It's fucking man. It's just
Like the high cheekbones. That is It's damn near Soviet-esque.
Yeah,
But so is the Frank picture where he's in the
Yeah.
The
Which is
Soviets.
interesting.
They're just 100 years behind.
yeah.
That's
And it's
a
like
great
snowing in
statue.
that picture too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll throw some of those up. I'll send them to Matt on the Patreon.
Nate Champion. Huh?
Nate Champion, dude. What a fucking name for an ideal character, dude.
Yeah.
So like total hero.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to take on just being like, we are the Small Stock Growers Association was a death sentence. And he would have known it because the intimidation would have already been going on at that point.
Yeah. But it would have been a death sentence to not take him on too.
Yeah.
Or it would have had to join him.
With,
Would've been
with
slower
these
to-
cowboys and veterans, there was a lot of guys that were just willing to take stands on both sides, you know, and it makes for some fucking lurid storytelling.
It's compelling, yeah.
It's fucking wild, dude.
I just risked my life for some other shit 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm warmed up.
Yeah. Ready to go.
Great story.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You enjoy that, gentlemen?
I sure
Indeed.
did. I love the Old West.
I love the Old West. I love it when there's like a little gay component potentially.
Well, it's the Old
It's the
West.
best.
That guy shoots off his own ball.
Oh God! Just for to see how good it feels. Like BME Pain Olympics.
Pain Olympics.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's it. I think we did it, gentlemen.
Fantastic.
Great story.
Should we wrap it?
Yeah. We'll hit you
All
up
right.
with the Patreon next.
Yes, I will say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.